All right. What is the next topic today?
Next topic, Greg Voigt asks, less than 4 years ago, The Avengers was the only movie to make over $200 million domestically opening weekend. In less than 4 years, 5 more films have achieved that number. What happened in those 4 years that allowed for these films to reach that? Is it higher ticket prices, the films themselves? What do you think? And thanks.
Well, first of all, it was more than 4 years ago. It was more than 4 years ago.
Right.
But the point is valid, Robert. I mean, we went the longest time where even the idea of a film making 200 million opening weekend was a bit of a stretch. And now we got a bunch of them. Here, check this out. Here are the films. We've got Avengers Infinity War, obviously, is the record hold, 257. But, Avengers was the first one, 207. Jurassic World, 208. Star Wars The Last Jedi, 220 million opening weekend. Star Wars The Force Awakens, $247 million. We got 5 films now. Like, before unheard of. Now we've got 5 of these films. So, Robert, the question becomes, what is it about the environment today that we've gone forever without 200 million? And now, all of a sudden, like in the snap of a finger, we've got 5 and more on the way. Literally, they gloved a snap of a finger. Now it seems like we've got more and more coming all the time. What was the turning point here?
Well, I'm always talking about what I call the post-geek singularity. And it's this period of time in which we live where all of our niche, not Nietzsche, like Nietzsche,
Yes.
Ubermensch, Nietzsche, the niche market that used to be geeks, for geeks, has gone utterly mainstream. Everything has gone mainstream. Everybody, you've got families going to these movies 1 and 2 and 3 times. People get excited. The whole world turns out for these films. It's no longer for just one group of people. These films, look at those films. You've got the Avengers, Star Wars, and Jurassic World.
All legacy titles.
All legacy titles that people have grown up with. Families watch these movies together on the holidays. Star Wars is a rite of passage for every child on planet Earth, pretty much. So these films are movies. There's never been, by the way, movies like this before. So, and there's ticket prices, there's IMAX movies. But for the most part, these are cultural events like we've never seen.
Yeah, and I'm going to point out, too, there's a couple of other things about the current context of the movie-going world that have changed over the years. Back in the 70s, 80s, you didn't have cumulative effects of movie franchises.
Right.
I mean, there were
That's
some.
Exactly right.
I mean, French Connection, sure, but not like today where you now, like a television show, you're building the following as you go and you get some climaxes. Jurassic World has a long history in Hollywood. The MCU, not only has the MCU been around for 10 years now, but also the long history of the comic books themselves. Star Wars goes back, to my parents' generation and earlier. All that kind of stuff. So that's one thing. To me, though, one of the other big things we have to keep in consideration, besides things like you mentioned, like ticket prices, whatever, is the fact that more and more movies today are released than any other time in history. And what that has caused is that, whereas before, a movie didn't make the huge lion's share chunk of its money in its first 2 weeks, a movie would come out, make some money, and then they hope it has legs, and it makes its overall body of money over the long term.
Sure.
There has never been a period in Hollywood history like we have today where the opening weekend is everything. The opening weekend is now because more and more people, they rush out more than any other time before. They want to go and see it opening weekend. They want to go see it opening weekend. And with more and more competition coming, the importance of that opening weekend becomes even more. Now, of course, we have exceptions. There are exceptions to that rule where some films will have really true long legs and all that kind of stuff. But those are rarities. So everything that you pointed out, Robert, on top of the fact that, we have these cumulative effects with franchises and the fact that there's a growing more and more in the last number of years emphasis on the opening weekend and the importance of the opening weekend, it's not a bird you kill with one stone. There's several different underlying reasons.
Yeah, and I also think that these movies are they're cultural events too.
Yeah.
I mean, the anticipation for these things is enormous. And in the case of movies like everything we saw there, a Jurassic World, I mean, a whole generation of kids grows up. We haven't seen dinosaurs eating people since Jurassic 3.
It's been a while. At least not good ones.
And when Jurassic World came out, who didn't want to see dinosaurs chomping on people? It'd been too damn long. A whole culture of people wanted to see that. And the same is true. I mean, Infinity War, even I hadn't felt the excitement for a movie as an old middle-aged man that's shriveling away close to my death. To get excited for a movie like Infinity War, was amazing. I felt like I was young as when the world was new.
As when the world was new. So yeah, a lot of different things. Can you guys think of some other reasons why you think we're seeing this trend and we got more $200 million opening weekend movies coming? Jump in the comments section and let us know your thoughts.